Welcome, everyone. It's Cannabis News. I'm your host, Joe Klare. It's January 15th, 2020. The show, as always, is presented to you by the Marijuana Times, marijuanatimes.org. That's where you can find us. A lot of great articles there. Click the video tab to find this show as well, marijuanatimes.org. Today, we're talking about Florida. Not only what's going on with the failure of recreational legalization to get on the ballot this year, also more protections for medical marijuana users, if you will, at least an attempt at that in Florida, and unions pushing to organize in Illinois cannabis businesses, if you will. All that's coming up. But first, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Natureside, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides grow safe and poison-free with Natureside. Don't use harmful chemicals or banned pesticides. None of that stuff. Use Natureside instead. Nature-side.com, a proud sponsor of Cannabis News. Thank you, Natureside. Over 2 years now of awesome sponsorship. Go check them out. This first story is by Julia Granowitz at marijuanatimes.org. Florida lawmakers want to protect patients from losing jobs over medical marijuana. Senator Lori Berman filed HB 595 in the state Senate, while Representative Tina Polsky filed SB 962, both of which aim to protect workers from losing their jobs or being denied jobs over legal medical marijuana use. Berman said in a press release, quote, "We must do our part to ensure that their use of safe and effective medicine will not impede their right to work." Both pieces of legislation will require employers provide a written notice within 5 days of a positive test results for THC, providing applicants or employees a chance to explain their results. In most cases, if the individual is licensed to use medical marijuana, it will end there. There are zero tolerance for some safety-sensitive positions, which are defined as, quote, tasks or duties of a job which the employer reasonably believes could affect the safety and health of the employee performing the tasks or duties. So an attempt to bring to Florida what many other states have, which is protections for medical marijuana users when it comes to employment. Of course, we'll see how that goes. Sticking with Florida, we talked yesterday about the Make It Legal Florida petition. Not going to happen this year. There's going to be no ballot attempt at recreational adult use legalization in Florida this year, but there is a silver lining. This comes from MiamiNewTimes.com. Maybe it's not a bad thing. Florida's biggest recreational marijuana petition failed. Basically, we remember Make It Legal Florida and their petition did not include homegrowing. Regulate Florida's petition and another smaller petition, at least another petition or another attempt that got less press. Let's put it that way. Also less funding. Also had home grow in the petition. So it's not exactly a setback, according to Carlos Miller of the Miami New Times, that the Make It Legal Florida team announced this week. It had failed to gather enough signatures to make it onto the 2020 ballot. With this initiative out of the way, Floridians can now concentrate on supporting a petition for 2022 that will truly free the weed. It's a fun expression. Free the weed. Make It Legal Florida is one of the 3 active petitions. Of course, the other 2, as I said, do have homegrown or did have homegrow. I'm one of those people that advocates for legalization in whatever form and then try to improve it down the line. But now that all these petitions have failed, and especially the Make It Legal Florida petition is not going to be on the ballot this year, I mean, it's obviously a silver lining. You know, as I've said many times before, any decent legalization plan needs to have home grow, whether it's part of the original plan or is worked in later. It's got to come at some point before you really have just decent. The word I use is decent. I think that's a good word to use. There's certain pillars that are going to be needed for legalization to be decent legalization, and that's going to include home grow, social use, delivery, along with possession and all the other stuff. All of these things have to be part of it. And if they're not part of, like, as I said, the original petition or the original attempt, and legalization is passed, then activists can then turn to working on adding it down the line. In this case, of course, they have 2 years to work on another to work on what they're doing, to work on what they're attempting, to fine-tune how adult use legalization, how an attempt at adult use legalization is going to look in Florida, and hopefully home growing can be added to that. At least that's my suggestion, if anybody was wondering. This last story from ChicagoTribune.com. Unions are pushing to organize Illinois' new marijuana industry. Some weed companies are opening the doors for them. Workers at the Cresco Labs marijuana grow facility in Joliet voted Tuesday to unionize 2 weeks after recreational weed sales started in Illinois. Workers at the facility voted 58 to 32 to be represented by the United Food and Commercial Workers Union. This is according to Zach Kautsky, legislative and political director for Local 881 UFCW. These workers made history tonight. This is precedent-setting, Kautsky said. A lot of people were watching how this would go. With a company of this size, workers want higher wages, lower health care costs, more respect on the job, and other requests, according to Kautsky. Some experts have long predicted that Illinois' medical marijuana industry will become one of the largest in the country. And unlike in other industries, there are reasons why marijuana company owners might more easily accept unionized employees. The state scores applications for new dispensaries, awarding points for a number of criteria, including their labor and employment practices. Applicants can get credit by entering into a labor peace agreement in which a company agrees not to disrupt union efforts and a union agrees not to disrupt business. So, look, I'm all for unionization when it's voluntary. If a group of workers and a company want to enter an agreement, great. I'm all for it. My problem comes in when governments mandate what companies have to do as far as that goes. We leave the voluntary area and move into the coercive area of state power. Those of you who watch the show long enough, you know that I've always had a problem with that, and it's the same in this as with everything else. But if Cresco wants to say, yeah, unions, great. Well, we love them, or we support them. Unionize, whatever. They're cool with it. Fine. If everybody's cool with it, good. Do it. Do it to it, as the kids say. I don't know if anybody's ever said that. I've said it before, but I may be the only one. I don't know. I don't keep track of that sort of thing. Maybe I should. Thanks, everybody, for checking out the show. Cannabis News, we're here 5 days a week, of course, for the Marijuana Times, marijuanatimes.org. Search the Marijuana Times on YouTube. Almost 3,000 subscribers there. Thanks to everyone who likes and shares and comments and spreads the truth about cannabis with this show. Please continue to do so. Thanks for watching and listening today, and we'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.